Hey y'all, hey, I'm here back with another video. So we're unpacking the Super Bowl thing. Now, okay, before I really go on my long tangent like I always do, I want to start off by saying this. Realistically, this is really how I feel about it. I believe that Wayne should have been considered to do this. Not just because it's in New Orleans, but when you say New Orleans, which I'll go into, that's the first person that you think of. When somebody says rapper, if you're going to say a rapper in New Orleans, Lil Wayne, that's who you think of. I don't think New Orleans rapper Kendrick. So I do think that Wayne should have been considered, but he wasn't. I still think that Kendrick will do a great job. I do think that Kendrick got this off of the success of Not Like Us. I do think that there is some politicking behind the reason why he got it. But the point of the matter is he got it. I do think that he would have eventually deserved the spot. And that's how I feel about it. Like, I feel like that's how it should be. Like, it should be really be that simple. It would have been great. I think Wayne should be considered, but he wasn't. And that's truly how I feel about it. No matter how much I'm about to go off about all these other points, that is truly how I feel about it. Wayne should have been considered. He wasn't. Kendrick will do a great job. So just know that everything else that I'm doing is just really because I really like to pick people's shit apart, right? So ever since then, as normal on the daggone internet, let me take a sip of my OJ. Once somebody says one point, that same damn point pops up all over the internet because people just take each other's points and just says the same thing and run them into the ground because somebody got 10,000 likes on some shit. So I'm gonna break down the same comment 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 questions. 4 to 5 retorts, I would say. Now I want to say this. You know, it's fine to be a Kendrick fan, and it's fine that people are excited that he's doing it, but I don't like the fact that Wayne is being disrespected in the process. Because this is the thing. I can't speak. Obviously, there's going to be people that like Drake, or whatever, that's like clinging on to this or whatever, like academics and stuff, to kind of shit on Kendrick. But I was coming from, I can't speak for everybody. I am not coming from the point of trying to disrespect Kendrick because, again, I think Kendrick is great. I think two things can be true. You can think Kendrick is great and still feel like Wayne was snubbed. You can feel like Kendrick is going to do a good job and still feel like Wayne was snubbed. You don't have to disrespect either one of these people. You don't have to disrespect Kendrick to say that you feel like Wayne deserved it, and you don't got to disrespect Wayne by saying that Kendrick has it, so it doesn't matter. Like, everybody needs to be respectful. But the most respect needs to go to the GOAT, okay? So let's go through just a few of these points. The same damn points that people keep saying against people that are saying something about Wayne. First of all, let's not even make it seem like it is I keep saying, let me start here. But the number one thing is, that's a valid critique. To make it seem like people saying that is not something valid and it's just, whoa, so crazy and so left field is insane. Now, you cannot agree, but to think that for people to want that is just so far out of reach and it's just a stretch is insane. And we'll get to that in a little bit. So one of the main things that I'm seeing that's being said is the NFL, when it comes to the Super Bowl, they don't always pick like a person that's from like the hometown. So wherever the Super Bowl is, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to pick an artist that's from there. And that is very true. However, and I did my research. I made sure I have all my notes together here. Take a walk with me. Since Jay-Z has taken over, so I went and I looked, Jay-Z and the NFL's announcement for him to pretty much work with them on a halftime show was announced in 2019, right? 2020 then would be the first halftime that Jay-Z and Roc Nation or whoever helped put together. So we're going to go from 2020 to when he started to 2024. Let's go through them, shall we? Okay. 2020 was in Miami, Florida. Who performed there? J-Lo and Shakira. Now, you may say, J-Lo and Shakira, they're not from Miami. They're not. However, they are of Latin descent. And is there not a huge Latin population in Miami? Is Miami not the capital for real in Florida of when it comes to the Latin community? So no, they're not from there, but it makes sense. And that's what I'm going to keep going back to. It's not just the fact that he's from New Orleans. That's what y'all keep. It's not just that one thing. That is obviously the biggest glaring point. But that is not the only reason that people are saying that. Since Jay-Z, as I keep going, with the exception of maybe one or two of these, Jay-Z, since he has taken over, it is obvious that there has been a conscious effort to connect whoever is performing with the Super Bowl to culture. Fuck hometown. We're talking about culture. And culturally, that made sense for J-Lo and Shakira to perform in Miami, even if they're not from there. That culturally makes sense. Let's move on. 2021 was the weekend and he performed in Tampa, Florida. Now, I would like to say this. When people like to say, oh, y'all was never pissed before. Let's back up for a second to 2020. When it was announced that J-Lo and Shakira was going to do it, there was a very, very small section of people that was like, what about Trina? What about Trick? But did we take that seriously? No, because we understand that although they are a very big part of Miami culture, as far as being on a main stage, being able to cross generational lines and racial lines and age things, that probably wouldn't work. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not just one thing. It's a combination of things, right? So that we can perform. And I'm going to get to the whole relevancy part because that matters in a little bit, right? People weren't excited. People didn't understand. I remember when it was announced that The Weeknd was doing it, people did not understand why he got it. Because I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but the Super Bowl traditionally has never been based on who's popping at that time. It's been on legacy acts. We will get there once I get to my point. Moving on, 2022 was Inglewood. We know that he had Dr. Dre and them come out. Of course, obviously, the West Coast. Boom, 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 boom. Yes, so obviously, Mary J. Blige is not from there. Obviously, Eminem and 50 Cent. But we're talking about people that are connected to a West Coast legend. And if we're being real, yeah, Mary J., 50, and M popped up. But who was really next to him the majority of the time? Snoop. A California icon, walking legend, okay? Let's move the hell on. Rihanna in Arizona. And then we have Usher in Vegas. No, Rihanna is not from Arizona. Weeknd, no, he's not from Tampa, whatever. And no, Usher is not from Las Vegas. But what I will say when it comes to Usher is that Usher is not from Las Vegas. But you want to know why that made sense? Because he had a residency at that time that was popping. And we'll go back to the relevancy in a second. But the connection culturally made sense. Culturally, it made sense that he has had a popping ass residency in Vegas. Culturally, that makes sense. Now, if we go to, so I just named Miami, Tampa, Inglewood, Arizona, Vegas. I named 5 places that they've done a Super Bowl so far. Out of 5, 2 of those didn't really connect as far as the person in the place. Now, all of those other places that I said, those people may have not been from there, but culturally it made sense. They had some type of culture tie or something made sense culturally between the artist and the fucking city. With the exception, like I said, of The Weeknd and Rihanna. But if we really want to talk about it, what artists or what do we know culturally about Tampa? What can the average person who don't know nothing about nothing connect Tampa to? What can the average person connect Arizona to? That's why he was able to kind of divvy off and dip off and kind of do something different, because we as a public don't connect those 2 places with artists or anything culturally, really. But all of those other places I said, Miami, Inglewood, Vegas, those are things that we connect culturally to somebody or something. So when we're talking about they don't always pick the hometown, you're right, they don't. But they make it make sense, and they have for the last 5 years, like I said, with the exception of 2. So we can get that argument up out of here. Culturally, And just the fact that he's from there, it makes sense. Wayne checks all the boxes. Wayne is from New Orleans. Wayne is very heavy into sports. And more importantly, Wayne has the hits. He crosses generational lines. He crosses ages. Sorry, I said that already. He crosses races. What are we talking about? Relevancy. As I said, relevancy. Being relevant as far as being a new and popping artist to headline has only been a newer thing with the Super Bowl. Me growing up, I'm a 90s baby. Growing up, the Super Bowl was nothing I never really cared for because it was always legacy acts, meaning acts that was either like a lot of times it was acts that was like my grandparents were into or like my great aunts, not even my parents a lot of times. Now, the way that they would bring relevancy back in the day is they would have a legacy act to be the main headliner and then they would pull newer acts on stage. That's kind of even how like Nicki got on the Super Bowl because Madonna was headlining and she pulled, I think, maybe Katy Perry and Nicki on. That's me growing up, how the Super Bowl was. Being relevant in the moment had nothing to do with you having the Super Bowl. And we're actually going to really go back and we're going to do, and if we want to talk about relevant, Wayne is relevant. Wayne just dropped a crazy ass verse on Corday's, on Corday's song that was having the internet on fire. What are we talking about? But we're going to go back. We're going to go back from 2000 to 2020 and I'm going to read off to y'all the headliners. And I'm this to show y'all that what I'm talking about, it used to be legacy acts. Legacy. Okay. 2000, we have Phil Collins, legacy. Christina Aguilera, newer. Enrique Iglesias, newer. Tony Braxton, a little bit of a vet in the Georgia State University. But again, Phil Collins, legacy act at this point. Let's move on. 2001, Aerosmith, legacy act. And who did they pull on with them? NSYNC, which was a newer act, relevant act. Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly, which were relevant acts at that time. But who was the main people? Legacy act. 2002, U2, legacy act. 2003, Shania Twain, legacy act. And they brought in No Doubt, which was a newer group. 2004, Janet Jackson, who at that point is 20 years in the game, legacy act. 2005, Paul McCartney, legacy act. 2006, Rolling Stone, legacy act. 2007, Prince, legacy. 2008, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, legacy. 2009, Bruce Springsteen, legacy. 2010, The Who, legacy. 2011, the Black Eyed Peas, legacy. 2012, Madonna. 2013, Beyonce. Now, 2013, Beyonce. Let's get to that for a second. Okay? 2013. Beyonce at that point is almost 20 years into her career. Right? So this is perfect. This lends right into the next thing that's been brought up. The next thing that's been brought up is, well, when Beyonce did it in 2013, nobody said nothing. Let's do a couple things to that, to those people. Number one, as I said, it's not just the fact that it's in New Orleans. It's the fact that y'all picked a rapper, and this is going to be the first rapper to ever headline a Super Bowl. Beyonce is not a rapper. In the sense of, I think most people expected Taylor Swift to headline the Super Bowl this year. If Taylor Swift headlined it, nobody would say anything because she's a pop star. Ariana Grande, nobody says nothing because she's a pop star. Beyonce is a pop star. Why would anybody be upset when she's a pop star? Not a rapper, a pop star. As Drake said, I'm a pop star, not a doctor. And number two, if you're unfamiliar, because maybe a lot of y'all are, Beyonce ties to New Orleans is known. My daddy, Alabama, mama, Louisiana. Miss Tina and her whole family is from NOLA. Beyonce and Solange's connection to NOLA, if you know anything about the Knowles sisters, is deep. Solange lived and raised Jules, her son, in New Orleans for a very long time. The connection between NOLA and Beyonce actually makes sense culturally. No, she's not from there, but it makes sense. Yeah, that's why nobody said anything. And more importantly, in 2013, Twitter wasn't how it was today. So where was the forum for people to fucking complain? And the same people that saying that was 3 or 5 when she even performed. I seen somebody say, bruh, that's when we was 14. Y'all are children. As we said, children. Children. So that cuts your whole Beyonce part fucking out of there. Other point that people were saying. Wayne shouldn't do it because Wayne doesn't know the lyrics to his own songs. See, I don't like the fact that something that he's been honest about has now been flipped on him. What Wayne has said, and I have one of the clips of him that I'm about to play, is he said that he freestyles so much and he has such a large body of work, which he does, that sometimes it's hard for him to remember what song is what. So there are a lot of times when he has to go back and he has to rehearse and rememorize his lyrics. He didn't say he stands on stage and doesn't remember his shit. That's not what he said. So let's go to what he said to, I believe, what is this? What's that man's name? Jimmy Fallon. Let's listen to what he said.
And I didn't see a mic yet. There it is.
How do you remember the song when you perform it?
Your guys are so kind and so generous. They typed up my lyrics for me, and so I'm back there studying them right now.
So all of that to say, what he was saying is that he has so many songs, not just that. The way that he does his songs, specifically coming off that clip, is he freestyles. So what Jimmy was asking him was, if you freestyle everything, then how do you remember? I have to go and I have to rehearse, which is leading into my next point of people saying that Wayne can't perform. No, is Wayne the best performer in the whole wide world? I guess maybe not, but to assume, but to me what that insinuates is that y'all think that he wouldn't take this seriously enough. Y'all think that he would give a half-ass performance like he do at these fucking concerts and he wouldn't really take it seriously, and I think that that's a slap in Wayne's face to say that about him, that he wouldn't take this seriously enough to really do his due diligence. Like, Wayne loves this shit. This nigga breathes and eats this shit. So I think it's offensive to even try to insinuate that Wayne wouldn't take this seriously enough to really perform, to really craft something together that made sense for his hometown. What are we talking about? And then the last thing I want to talk about that somebody said, I'm not going to even dignify with Kendrick has more hits than Wayne. We're not going to dignify that with a conversation. If we really want to talk about, like, I guess, what's the word you're looking for? Like, I won't say relevancy, but like being appealing or whatever. Like, I'm looking at all of the songs. Like, I'm on Billboard Hot 100 right now, and I'm looking at Kendrick songs. And let's go through them. Let me tell you the ones that I think the people that they trying to grasp mainstream America will know. So he had Love, no. Humble, maybe. Swimming Pools, I don't know. Fucking Problems, probably not. Don't Want to Know, which is a Maroon 5 song. I don't know. Maybe white people like that. Loyalty, maybe. Bad Blood, for sure. Now, if the plan is to have Kendrick Lamar bring out Taylor Swift, I could see that. But then if he do that, then he might as well have not did the Super Bowl because ain't nobody gonna pay attention to him, right? Poetic Justice, which is featuring Drake, we know that ain't gonna happen. Like That, okay. The Greatest with Sia, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, no. All the Stars, maybe. King's Dead, no. Pray For Me, no. DNA, maybe. New Freezer, no. Family Ties, no. Not Like Us, obviously. Euphoria, no. All Right, sure. Give It To You, no. I, no. Element, no. King Kunta, no. I'm talking about what the white people would know. Silent Hill, no. Mona Lisa, no. Collard Greens, no. N95, no. America Has a Problem, no. Meet the Grams, no. Y'all, no. Mad City, no. Okay, so the songs that I think that the white people are gonna know: Humble, which is 1. Bad Blood, if they do that. All the Stars is 2. Not Like Us, maybe DNA. But outside of Not Like Us, probably We Gonna Be Alright, because I'm sorry I didn't say that. And Humble, there's not a lot of songs that Kendrick has that crosses over. Just like Drake said on Family Matters, Pop would make you hop on records with the whites so that you could get crossover appeal. Because as big as Kendrick is, he don't really have... This is I gotta stop because I'm not trying to disrespect Kendrick. Kendrick is amazing. But if we're talking about the hits part, then we can't... you know what? I said I wasn't gonna address that. We're gonna move on. So I just wanted to address the main things that people were saying. So those are the main 4 or 5 points that everybody kept saying when I look online and when I'm scrolling through comments. So I just wanted to answer all of those questions. So the next thing here, obviously, is how Jay plays into all of this. Again, as I said, we all know that Jay has taken over for the most part, the halftime since 2019, 2020-ish. And so the conspiracy theory is that Jay pretty much snubbed Wayne. Not necessarily. And if I'm gonna delve into the conspiracy, right, I don't really think it has anything to do with Wayne. I think Jay was trying to spite either Nicki, Drake, or Birdman, and unfortunately Wayne was a casualty of that. That's what I think it was. I don't think that Jay has a problem with Wayne. I think Jay has a problem with everybody that's next to Wayne, and he don't mind sacrificing him. You the sacrificial lamb, because I really don't fuck with the majority of the people that you cool with on that side. He don't care for Nicki. I think if you've been paying attention enough to the stuff that Nicki has been saying, I think you would know that her and Jay don't get along. Him and Drake has always been a little iffy, and we know him and Birdman don't get along. So again, the conspiracy theory is Jay is trying to do what he do and try blackball people and trying to give Kendrick obviously a moment or whatever. I don't really, like I said, I buy into the theory, not all the way, but a little bit. So Nicki has finally come out. I've been saying forever. I said this on one of my other videos when I was talking about her and Megan. I always said, if your problem is with Jay-Z, then just say that. Because she keeps saying over and over again that, what shit? Kano one up. From Seeing Green, she even said, no one bitch could be my op. That shit offends me. I had giants and machines that were against me. So she has been saying, to me, it seems like that her problem is less with Megan and Cardi and more with the people behind the scenes, which I've always said, if that's the case, then shoot at them, specifically Jay. I said this in my last video about Nicki. It seems like your problem is with Roc Nation and with Jay. So Jay-Z is a rapper. Why don't you just shoot at him versus shooting at Megan? No pun intended. I don't get it. But I'm glad that she has finally stopped playing games and just put it out there of who she really got a problem with. So let's go through some of Nicki's streets. So Nicki said, I love watching the whole industry play dumb time after time. The truth is the truth no matter who tells it. Picking and choosing who y'all accept truth from, then bam, pow. Might tell you a joke, but I'll never tell you a lie. Gag City DC. Everything is Gag City DC dash hashtag DTLR. So somebody said, that's why I believe her every time when she speaks. She's yet to be proven wrong about anything she says. Then months later, it's Nicki was right. Nicki retweets and says, yup, and I never care by the time they figure it out. Laughing my fat ass off. It's good for them. Y'all know his next move is going to be to tell y'all a certain someone is being treated so unfairly so that y'all can go back into that trance. Okay, now that tweet in particular is interesting because is she talking about Meg or is she talking about Beyonce? Because when she says his next move is going to be to tell y'all a certain someone is being treated so unfairly. Now, Jay has got up many times and said that Beyonce was being treated unfairly. But also, that could apply to Meg. So I don't know who she's really talking about. Now there has been rumblings that maybe Nicki and Beyonce don't really like each other or don't get along because of Nicki's problem with Jay-Z. But every time that Beyonce sends Nicki flowers, Nicki posted to try to prove y'all wrong. I think it's hilarious. If Nicki really has a problem with Jay-Z and Beyonce is still sending her flowers, that's hilarious. That's so funny to me. I don't care what nobody says. That's funny. She said, go and enjoy your fucking money before it's too late. She said one nigga took a knee, the other nigga took a bag. He gonna get you in that GGER in line every fucking time. Now that's when it's confirmed that she's talking about Jay. One nigga took a knee, Kaepernick. The other nigga took the bag, Jay. Let me say this. I've had a problem with Jay-Z for quite some time now. I don't really fucks with that man. I think that in the beginning of his career, Jay was like really about himself. Then he got to a point where it was like, no, I'm for the people. But I think where Jay is now is that he tries to put off as if like the stuff he do is really for us. Like when I mean us, I mean black people, when it's really for self. And a lot of the stuff that he does or he attempts to do, that we see, because I don't know everything, but a lot of the stuff that I see that he does, it doesn't really benefit the average black person. So like, okay, cool, you took over for the NFL the Super Bowl halftime. That didn't get Cap his job back. That didn't get any of the other black players more saying anything. They didn't, nobody got no more bread. What has happened recently is that there's been more black quarterbacks, but that has nothing to do with Jay-Z, in my opinion. That ain't got nothing to do with that. So I'm not sure how Jay-Z taking over the Super Bowl has helped black people at all, other than give a few black people that deserve their spotlight the spotlight. Outside of that, how has that helped us? The Bitcoin thing, like, I got a whole different problem with Jay-Z, but that's neither here nor there. So, and the thing about Jay is that because he's Jay, you can't say nothing about him, especially to a certain demographic. You can't say nothing about him. Not the whole Vengers. Y'all think the OVO hoes is bad and the Kendrick Lamar fans are bad? The whole Vengers are worse. They're so much worse. Okay, let's keep going. Then Nicki says, got everything in the world, still spiteful and evil, disgusting. Be happy, you beg. Go be fucking happy, nigga. In rap business, in women business, when you got the politicians and the police, you good though. Plus that ugly laffy taffy alien talking about Desiree, who is the CEO, I think, or one of the presidents or whatever of Rock Nation. We know that she snitched and she told and she got a pardon. That's who she talking about with that. Then a fan like had tweeted her saying like, I don't know if you peeped this, but with every hashtag or video related to you, they're messing with something in the background because you see Rock Nation's name. And Nicki retweeted and said, yep, everyone's aware. Clearly they don't care. So why should I? What I'm gonna do, child? And then she said, I tried to tell y'all, but y'all wanted to brunch, laughing my ass off. I'm on a fucking roll. Wait, hack. That part's hilarious. Cause the Rock Nation brunch really was a big ass deal. It's not no more because it's not really a thing. But for a long time, I mean, and to be fair, Nicki, you did go to one of them, but it really was a big deal. And it was always said, like, conspiracy theory rumor mills or whatever, that like the Rock Nation brunch is like some real fucking inner circle. It's some weird inner circle shit that goes on over there. Real industry. But everybody was real, as she said, everybody's hyped. Everybody be hyped to be up under Jay-Z and really up underneath Beyonce. Like, their social, outside of their actual capital, their social capital and their business capital is just so high. You would want to be on their side. But I hear her. So then somebody said, wait, this is about Wayne, or girl, sit this out because he wouldn't be doing this for you. And then Nicki said, oh, so you think speaking up on injustice within your workplace should only be done if it's for a person that would do it for you? I'm really the realest nigga. Wow. Denying a young black man what he rightfully put into this game for no other reason but your ego. Your hatred for Birdman, Drake, and Nicki got you punishing Lil Wayne, the GOAT. Nola, what's good? Eminem stood firm on having 50 Cent come out a white man. Shit sad. House nigga tings. But whatever. Well, then niggas keep sunning you. And again, I'm sorry. I kind of think that there's a little bit of validity. Again, I don't think even Nicki said that. She said your hatred for Birdman, Drake, and Nicki got you punishing Lil Wayne. And I said that in my last video. I don't think Jay-Z is trying to slight Wayne, but he is. I don't think he has a problem with Wayne, but I think his issue with Birdman, Nicki, and Drake, again, Lil Wayne became a casualty of war, and that was my problem with the whole thing. I don't agree with a lot of shit that Nicki said, but I do agree with your hatred for other people made you disrespect the GOAT. You dislike those other people so much that you would disrespect Wayne. That is insane. That is crazy. To me, at least. To me, that's crazy. Nicki said, and by the way, you don't know half of what Lil Wayne has done for me and others. Wayne had Drake on and out on his tour without paper sign. He was on all my mixtapes with no paper sign. This man has literally changed the face of hip hop, the hair too. If you know, you know. He inspired so many to tat their faces and get looks, inspired your faves to want to be a great MC. He was never in this for the money. It's always been for the love of music. Blah, 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 blah. And that's kind of like the end of it, really, for the most part, right? Yeah, pretty much it. She said, you can love and respect Kendrick and still love and respect Wayne. Even Kendrick loves and respects Wayne. Every real rapper loves and respects Wayne. That's just a fact. That's just a fucking fact. Yeah, that was pretty much it or whatever from her. And again, I would have to agree. That's what bothered me about it. Like I said, so you dislike these other people so much that you would disrespect Wayne is kind of crazy to me. That's kind of crazy. But all of that to be said is that I still stand on what I said in the beginning of this video. I think Wayne should have been considered, but he wasn't for whatever reason, whether that be politics. And can I also say too that for people, let me say this. Do I think the theory, the conspiracy theory goes as deep as like people like academics is trying to make it? No, but there are absolutely politics behind this. And if you think if you don't think that there's politics behind this, then that means you're taking this face value for what it is. They gave it to Kendrick because Kendrick is popping. Kendrick's the best rapper to do it, and that's why he got it. That is not the only reason that he got it. No disrespect. Again, he deserves the opportunity, but it's more than just he's a great rapper. He's just, and somebody said, oh, he's the highest example of rap. It's more than that. It is way more than that. So you cannot believe whatever conspiracy theory that you want, but as somebody that works in the business of big business and marketing, everything has a reason. Nobody picks something just to pick it. There's always a reason behind it. And it's more than, oh, we just thought this was the best person for the job. So I ain't ready to get into all the politics of it, but there's definitely politicking behind it. Shout out to Cam for calling that out. Cam called it out for what it was when he was on the It Is What It Is. He said that's crazy. Now, I don't agree when Mason them said for you to be hating at this age is crazy. I don't think he's hating on Wayne. I truly don't think that this has, the same way, like I said, this has nothing, all of the stuff that's with Drake really has nothing to do with Kendrick. Kendrick is really just like a pawn, kind of like similar to, like I said, what Nicki was trying to say about like Cardi and Meg. I think the same applies to Kendrick. I think Kendrick really doesn't like Drake the same way I think Cardi really doesn't like Nicki. But with that being said, I think their dislike for that person is being used, manipulated, and exacerbated in every way possible to take somebody down. And that's because of something that people up top want. That is what I believe. That Kendrick don't like Drake, but best to believe there is a reason why the push is happening the way that it is. And it ain't just because Kendrick's a great person. It ain't. It's not. That's just facts. So the industry kind of flipped on Drake. The way that Drake used to have the machine behind him, the machine is now against him. Same thing with Nicki. The way Nicki used to have the machine behind her, the machine is now against you and trying to take you the fuck out. And people cannot believe that. Again, I don't know what the end goal is, but it is clear that there was politicking behind the scenes when it came to this decision. There's no getting around that. Politic it out, and y'all can say however it is that y'all want to, but there was politics behind this. Point blank, period. I seen that they said that Drake the World Cup is gonna be in Toronto or whatever. Before I leave, I keep saying I want to say one more thing, but before I leave, I do want to say Maul from the Rory and Maul podcast said that Drake has turned down the Super Bowl plenty of times. And people in the comments like, that's bullshit. I believe that Drake probably was offered this at one point in time. I believe that, but can I be honest and say I've never in my life thought about Drake doing a Super Bowl, just because I don't correlate Drake in football. Does that make sense? Like, I've never thought about that. Like, I always thought, okay, I guess that's something, but it's never nothing I really like was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna do, because again, I correlate Drake more to basketball than I do football. I don't never really see him do anything with football. Now soccer, yeah. But that's because he's from Canada. So with the World Cup coming and whatever, and people like, oh, he might perform there. Yeah, that makes more sense. He's from Canada. Of course, he would be more into football and fucking hockey than he is American football. That just makes more sense to me. But y'all get in the comments and tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think there is a conspiracy going on? What do y'all think is happening? And don't y'all agree that people are blowing this whole thing out of proportion? I know I did a 30-minute video on it, so I'm like part of the problem. But in reality, I really don't care. It's just pop culture shit. And that's something else too. Like, bro, we're all allowed. It's pop culture shit. We're all allowed to fucking take place in pop culture discourse. That's the whole point of Twitter. So get the fuck over it. All right. See y'all when I see y'all out. Bye.